Boogie Woogie Sioux is a Waterland production swing symphony cartoon from 1942. This is directed by Alex Lovy and written by Ben Hardaway and Milt Schaffer, with a voice cast including Carl Grayson, Dick Nelson, and Del Porter. It's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, mostly because the depictions of the Native American characters are definitely not as bad as what I've seen in other cartoons from around this time. We do have some stereotyping, but in general, I don't think it's as bad as certainly it could be. And the narrative is kind of slow, but it definitely made me feel very hot and dehydrated. So I think it's actually very effective. So I will spoil what happens, so I will give a spoiler warning from now as I talk about what happens in the first two thirds and then what happens in the final third and share some thoughts with those. For the first 4 out of the 6-ish minutes, 6 or 7 minutes, all we see, and it is very slow, but it's also very effective, are a bunch of, well, different Native American characters, but also we focus on plants and animal carcasses and how this dry, horrible, sweltering weather, I'm not a fan of warm weather, is really affecting everybody negatively, and it made me feel really sick because the heat makes me feel sick. So it was actually very effective. I could feel the atmosphere, and of course they're desperate for some rain. So what we get in the final third is the arrival of the Rainmaker with a drum kit, and he makes some music and downfalls the rain, and everybody's really happy and uplifting. I kind of found that to be quite infectious. Everybody's happiness was really obvious and made for a kind of upbeat final third of the cartoon. So there are definitely some really strong things about this, definitely some things I think were very well portrayed, which is maybe not what I was expecting. We also have some really decent animation as well. There are certainly some good bits of animation, and I loved how the rain was animated. I thought that looked pretty good as well. As I said, though, it is very slow to begin with, very, very slow. It takes a long time for anything particularly interesting to happen, but it is also very atmospheric. So it's not all bad. The characters are interesting enough, maybe not the most developed. I wasn't really connecting with any of them. I didn't really, apart from understanding that they were very hot and desperate for rain, I never really, connected with any of their personalities or anything. I don't think we really got a good sense of who any of the characters were, apart from maybe the Rainmaker. When he was performing, I think it was very easy to kind of get a sense of his kind of personality, but not so much for the rest of them. But that aside, and the slow pacing aside, it isn't too bad. Some decent bits of animation, definitely some very effective portrayals of hot weather, and then joy when we have the beautiful rain in the final third. So not a bad cartoon. It may not be perfect, but if it sounds like it would appeal to you, then I'd say Boogie Woogie Sioux might be worth watching.